community librarian with Deschutes Public Library. I'm here today to show you how to make a very simple yet very fragrant sugar scrub. And it's so easy, you just need a few ingredients and you can either use this for yourself or you can gift it to someone else. So let's get started, and first thing first, I'm going to show you what you need to make our sugar scrub today. So you're going to need some kind of sugar. There are a variety of ways that you can make this. I'm just going to show you using just plain old white granulated sugar. You're going to need coconut oil, and it needs to be warmed up so that when we're making our scrub it doesn't solidify. I was lucky enough to be able to put mine outside today because it was warm enough, but if you don't have that option, you can always warm it up in the microwave as long as you're using something microwave safe, or you can warm it up on the stove in a pot. You don't need a whole bunch, but coconut oil is our second ingredient. We're going to be using essential oils in my recipe today because I have a whole bunch of essential oils at home. I'm going to go for a lavender scent, and I'm also going to use a little bit of food coloring. I don't want to put a whole bunch in because it can discolor your skin if you use too much food coloring or if you're making really dark colors. If you don't have essential oils around your house, because not everybody is a collector of essential oils like I am, you can also do this using any kind of citrus zest. So if you have an orange or a lemon or a lime and you just zest the peel of that, that works really well too for your sugar scrub. Okay, so the next stuff that we need are our bowls and utensils. So you're gonna want at least a bowl to mix in and a spoon, so you can do that mixing. And then I'm going to be using a full cup measuring tool and then a fourth of a cup measuring tool today. I just attempted to shoot this video and it didn't record, so I actually already made half of one and it's a lemon one. So I'm gonna put the lavender on top and make kind of a lavender lemongrass sugar scrub. But I'm just gonna show you how to make just about like 4 ounces today. So if you've got a mason jar or any kind of jar or container that you can hold it in, mason jars work really great, so I'm gonna use those. But you're gonna want something to store your final product in. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm gonna do is take my full cup measuring scoop and I'm gonna get 1 cup of sugar. We're gonna pour it in our bowl. Next, we're gonna add the coconut oil. So I'm gonna do 1/4 of a cup here. This is kind of one of those recipes that you can tinker around with and see what kind of consistency you're getting. You don't want it to be overly oily because then that's gonna leave everything really slippery when you're using it. But as you're mixing it and we get to that point, you can kind of tell if you're gonna need to add more sugar or if you're gonna need to add a little bit more oil. So I'm gonna take my lavender essential oil, and since I don't want it to be super, super strong, I'm only gonna put a few drops in. So anywhere between like 5 and 12 drops, depending on how strong you want the scent. Also, it depends on how strong the scent is that you're working with. Okay, and this is the fun part where I get to try to make the color purple without it being too purple. So I'm just gonna probably put 1 or 2 drops of each color in to start. It is really easy to overcolor. Okay, we'll start here and see what it starts to look like. So if you're using like those darker colors, it can start getting really clumpy. And something that you can do if you're using darker colors is add that food coloring before you add the oil and really mix it. So that way the colors won't super clump together. I didn't do that, but that's okay. I'm gonna work with what I have here. I was used to making that yellow color earlier, so it wasn't as tricky to mix it together. So mine's looking a little bit more brown than the purple that I want. So I'm gonna add maybe one more drop of blue and see if I can get closer to that lavender color that I'm looking for. I'm gonna scrape off some of this oil and sugar that got stuck on the spoon, and I'm gonna keep mixing. It's starting to look a little bit more purple. You can always give it a smell. If it's not smelling as fragrant as you'd like, you can add some more essential oil or more zest. I think I'm gonna do that at the end here for mine, because I still smell a lot of lemongrass. That's a pretty pungent smell, in a good way. But I want some lavender in there too. Okay, so I'm really mixing, trying to get that red and that blue to mix. Sometimes I find if I spread it against the side of the bowl, it helps me mix it a little bit better. Okay, I'm almost done here. It's still not as lavendery as I'd like, but I think it gets the point across. So I'm gonna add a little bit more lavender essential oil. And then I'm going to do one final stir. So I'm going to get some of that oil off the spoon again. It likes to collect. And it smells so good. Okay. So I'm going to bring out my mason jar. And like I mentioned, I already have some really strong smelling lemongrass. It smells delicious in here. And then I'm just gonna scoop in my lavender on top. So for these, like I said, 4 ounces or 8 ounces for jars work really great. I have a double scoop here since I did 2 different colors. And it's always fun to just kind of play around with it. If you're making it as a gift, find out what kind of fragrances other people like. And ta-da! I've got my lemongrass lavender sugar scrub that I'm excited to try. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that your scrubs smell as great as mine do, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.